Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to return to New Zealand after quite a long absence actually, and I'm really interested to try this beer. When I was down in New Zealand visiting my friend, I did about 15 New Zealand beer reviews for you, and the stuff down there is really awesome. But we're going to return to one of those breweries today. We're going to Wellington, the capital city of New Zealand, and we're going to revisit Garage Project, and it was quite cool actually. You can get their cans here in Sweden now, so really interested to try this one. This one is called Day of the Dead, and it's a black beer, and they've added cocoa, vanilla and chili to this one. So this is the first ever chili beer that I'm reviewing for you on the channel here. I've stayed away from them so far because I've been a little bit apprehensive of them, but when I saw that Garage Project were doing one and that it had come all the way to Sweden, I thought, well, I've got to try one of these. So this one is a 6.7% black beer, as I say, with vanilla, cocoa and chili added to it. So it should be really interesting. The last beer I did from these guys was the Hoppy Days, and it was an IPA or a pale ale, but it was very, very nice. I remember it being a really good beer. They do get their beers in bottles down in New Zealand, but I think all the ones that are exported are all cans for obvious reasons. It's lighter to send and things like that, but yeah, this should be a very nice beer. A big shout out to my friend Adam in Auckland as well for this one. Really cool to return to New Zealand and do some more New Zealand craft beers. I really need to get back to New Zealand and spend some time in Wellington and try all the different things around there. But I hope you guys in Wellington and the rest of New Zealand enjoy the review. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual websites are in the video description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other Garage Project reviews that I've done before. Hopefully I can add more in the future now that they're exporting to New Zealand. And there's all the usual social media, Facebook, Twitter and Untappd, so please follow me on there. Your support would be much appreciated. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel, and to those of you watching in New Zealand, please do get in touch and let me know some of your favourite beers and breweries from New Zealand that you'd like me to check out, and hopefully I can get a hold of some of those. So anyway, to tell you about Garage Project. So Garage Project Brewery was founded in 2011 in Wellington by Peter Gillespie, Ian Gillespie and Josh Russell, and all three had previously worked in other breweries before they actually founded the Garage Project. They say that when they founded it they were a nano brewery and they had a small brewing kit of only 50 litres because they said this really allowed them to experiment and take risks, and this was where they developed a lot of their recipes that they're selling quite widely today. But Peter Gillespie is the brewer at the project, and he was previously an academic before going on to work at breweries in the UK and Australia, and then he got involved in Garage Project in his hometown. Josh Russell actually is a well-known beer enthusiast in Wellington, and he's seen as the idea man, and apparently he's very sort of active and passionate about pushing craft beer forward, you know, kind of diversifying it and just trying new things really. And Ian Gillespie, he's seen as the glue that holds the trio together. Apparently the brewery was squatting in his garage at the very beginning, and he's previously been involved in running and setting up cafes, and see, he seems to be the one, from what I can gather, that does a lot of the promotions and kind of PR work for the brewery as well. So they've got a very good team there that are very passionate about what they do. They brew very good beer. The ones I've tried anyway have been very good, and from what I hear from people in New Zealand, the other ones are really good as well. But if you go and look on their website, they've got a brand new facility, some really kind of sexy shiny metal work in there, and they are actually brewing on a fairly decent scale these days, and they must be to be able to export over to Sweden too. So yeah, go and check out some of the Garage Project beers, one of the most highly rated breweries in New Zealand these days. So just to list a few of the other beers you can get from these guys, there are quite a lot of them. There's the Angry Peacher, API 3.0, Arrow Noir, Baltic Porter, Beer, Beyond Pale, Burning Globe, California Uber Alice, Cat's Pajamas, Cereal Milk Stout, Chateau Aro, Cherry Bomb, Day of the Dead, which is this guy here, Death from Above, Garagista, Hops on Point, Lil Red Rye, Golden Brown, Hoppy Days, which I've reviewed for you before, La Cavalera Katrina, Louisiana Voodoo Queen, Mecca Hop, Mon Petit Choux, Pan Pacific, Pernicious Weed, Pills and Thrills, Red Rocks Reserve, Sauvignon Novo, Smoke and Mirrors, Summer Sommer, Texas Tea, Touchwood, Turnasul, Trip Hop, Umami Monster, VPA, and also Wabi Sabi Sour. So there's a huge range of beers from these guys. From what I hear, pretty much pick a style of beer that you enjoy, and you will really like it from these guys. They're a very good brewery, and as you can tell, they are very prolific. So that's enough about Garage Project. If you do want to go and read more about them, I would advise you go and check out the brewery websites and things. I'll just bring up the camera and let you have a little look at this one. So as I mentioned to you, this guy is a 6.7% chili black beer. It's brewed with smoked chipotle chili, raw cocoa nibs, vanilla and agave as well. So it should be really quite interesting one there. You can see the nice Day of the Dead artwork there. You can see on the back a little bit about the brewery. It says Day of the Dead lager, but not as we know it. Garage Project's Day of the Dead, a strong black lager inspired by the Aztec beverage Xochitl. A bitter, frothy, spicy drink combining cocoa chili, brewed with chipotle chili, fermented with organic blue agave syrup, and conditioned over raw cocoa nibs and vanilla. Rich and dark, the Day of the Dead is a smooth and drinkable with a complex mix of smoke, chocolate, and a restrained chili heat. A true celebration of the dark side. And it says, we're a small brewery located in an old petrol station in Wellington, New Zealand. It's an unlikely place for a brewery, but our aim in the garage is to create unique and beautiful beers. We like pushing boundaries, reinterpreting styles, and challenging the notions of what beer can be. 6.7%, and it should be nice. And I was actually surprised about this. You can see there's the pand on the back there, the pant, the 1 krona that you get back if you take this can to be recycled. So yeah, quite cool that they've actually got that on the New Zealand can. But let's get this guy open and we'll get on with the tasting here. This should be really nice. I always find it amazing to think that here in Sweden you can get beers that have come all the way from New Zealand, just the complete other side of the world. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, that looks really nice. Oh yeah. So yeah, we'll sit this back down. It actually smells a little bit like a kind of sweet stout just when you're pouring it out, but we'll have a look at that more closely in a minute. But as you can see, this beer has poured a really dark ebony rosewood colour. If I hold it up to the light, it does have a little bit of a chestnut edge to it, but you can see it is a very, very dark beer. There's a solid finger there of a kind of beigey, creamy coloured head on this. Looks very nice, very frothy head. There's a few big bubbles sticking to the side of the glass, but quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head there. But, you know, it looks very nice. So let's have a look at the aroma. So without sugaring it up, there's actually not a very pungent aroma from this one without shaking it up. You know, it smells a little bit chocolatey, there's a bit of bready character in there, almost like a kind of dark pale malt base to this one. But it smells quite unassuming, so we'll shake it up and see what else we get out of it. I'm sure we'll get more than that. Yeah, you can smell, when you shake it up a bit, you can smell a little bit of that chili heat in there. You can smell some of these spicy chili characters coming out. There's a bit of chocolate in there, you can smell the vanilla infused with it. That is nice, that beer. You can smell that really nicely. There's a smoky element, just very subtle though. This aroma is quite a subtle one. You need to pay attention to it to pick out the different components of it. But yeah, some sweet chocolate. The vanilla is a bit obvious once you shake it up, but you can smell the peppery and sort of chili spice in there as well. There is a bit of earthy hop, I think, coming out of this also, but it's a kind of pale, dark malt that's on this one to start with before you sugar it up. When you sugar it up, you start to get a bit more of the chocolate and the sort of coffee-ish notes a little bit too. The chocolate and vanilla come out when you shake it, like I say, and you can smell the slightly peppery spice. There's not too much chili actually comes out of the aroma, but definitely more peppery, and you can smell a little bit of the earthy hop too. So it's quite an interesting one, this, and as I say, this is the very first time I'm trying a chili beer, so I really don't know what to expect from this one. So I guess let's get stuck into this guy. So this is the Day of the Dead, Viva el Diablo, Dia los Muertos, whatever you want to say, from New Zealand. Let's get stuck into this guy. Garage Project, great brewery. Skål. There is a teeny tiny heat from this one. You can just feel it lingering in the back of your throat. As I always say, sugar the beer around your palate and just try and let the whole mouth adjust to this one before you try and dissect the flavour too much. You can feel the chili just lingering at the very back of your throat there. I mean, I love hot curries. Chili, honestly, isn't something that I eat too much, if I'm honest. So this is quite interesting. Maybe I need to go and actually try some proper chilies and things. And that's why I was saying I was a bit I'm a bit apprehensive about trying chili beers. The other new Garage Project beer that they had was in a white can, and that was also a chili beer. I forget what it was called, but I chose this one. Basically, I knew they were both chili. The artwork on this one I thought was cooler. But yeah, this is quite nice though. It's unusual that the heat, the sort of spicy heat that you get from this one, is something that's definitely an acquired taste. I'll need to try a few more of beers in this style to get used to them a bit more, because you can feel that that's just really unusual for me, having a beer that's that spicy, if you like. But it's nice. Like, the flavours in this beer are really good. So across the middle of the palate you've got some black malt that just blankets the middle of your tongue there. It's almost like in some of these German beers from the south you get that light pale malt that just goes right across the middle of the tongue. You've got that in this beer, but obviously it's a little bit darker. There's some dark coffee malts in there. I want to say there's a little bit of smoky character to this one too. It's not peaty or ashy, but you can feel that it is quite roasted. I should say it's not peaty or meaty, it's more of an ashy character. That was what I meant to say. But definitely some black malt character to this beer. But on top of that you've got some of the sweetness. You can feel in the middle of the palate the sweet chocolate just building up, and some of the vanilla infusion there too. There's maybe a little bit of licorice also, but there's a good bit of peppery spice as well, and you can feel the chili bite at the back of the throat in this beer. It's quite an interesting one, this, and you can also pick up just a little bit of earthy hop around the edges of the palate. Yeah, there's not too much hoppy character from this beer at all. As I say, at the back corners of the palate there's a little bit of earthiness, and as you come further forward it stays very smooth. There's not even a little bit of grassy character, but that heat, as you drink this beer, the heat really starts to spread throughout the rest of your mouth. It's just like a very mild, it's not quite as sweet as curry obviously. This is probably a good chili flavour. I can see people that enjoy like chili food and spicy food really enjoying this beer. For me, this is one that a style of beer that I still need to get into properly. The one style of beer that I can't drink because I'm allergic to seafood is oyster stouts. I just can't drink those. But this is the first time I'm trying a chili stout as well, so it's quite interesting to think that with stout beers they can just chuck whatever they like in them. And it seems to work. You know, the chili beer, while it's still a bit of a taste that I need to get used to a little bit more for the sake of doing reviews and things, this is actually quite nice. You know, it's a good opener to the style. It's not too hot, but that said, I don't have any experience of this style, but the beer itself is good, and from Garage Project I wouldn't expect anything less. But yeah, no, that's nice. I'd be interested to try it on tap and see how it turns out. I don't think I've actually ever seen a chili beer on tap, so maybe when I make it back to Wellington, well, I've never been actually, but when I make it back to New Zealand, I'll definitely go down to Wellington and try some of the craft beers down there. But this is really good. In terms of the mouthfeel, light to mid-bodied I'd say with this one, probably more mid-bodied. The heat does make it feel a little bit bigger in the body than it probably is. The carbonation is very smooth on this one. It's got a good oily and kind of silky mouthfeel. That helps bring out the vanilla and sort of chocolatey flavours in the beer, but there's a good bit of dry, roasted character to this one as well, and especially as you go into the latter part of the beer, it's really that hot, that kind of hot, spicy thing from the chilies that's just lingers just under the throat kind of here, which is quite unusual. I've never really talked about that in a review before, that a kind of mouthfeel that goes all the way back to here. There is a little bit of heat comes into the mouth too, and there is some sweetness, like I said, and it's spicy at the end. But I mean, overall, it's a very interesting beer, and I'm glad that I got to try it. I do wonder, with it being 6.7%, I'd love to know if for these sort of chili beers you have to have the higher alcohol content, just, pardon me, to sort of supplement the chili warmth in this. That would be quite interesting to know, because at 6.7%, if it's meant to be like a black lager beer with things added to it, then that's very heavy for a lager actually. 6.7% is heavy for a lager beer, and I think for a Schwarzbier as well it's pretty heavy. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's a nice beer, and if you're maybe wanting to get into chili beers, then this is maybe a good place to start. And Garage Project, like I say, produce some really awesome stuff, so pretty much pick a style you like from these guys, and I can guarantee you will enjoy it. They brew some really awesome beers, and it's very cool to see that they're making their way over here to Sweden. So yeah, go and check out the Day of the Dead from Garage Project in Wellington. Really cool beer. As I said, my very first review on the channel here of a chili beer, so I'll need to try some more and see how we get on with those. There's a couple of breweries in Denmark have some chili imperial stouts, but this one is a chili Schwarz beer, or a chili black lager. So it was interesting to try, and I'll definitely try and review some more Garage Project beers and some more New Zealand beers for you soon. But as always, I hope you've enjoyed the review. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from this brewery as well. And to those of you in New Zealand, please do let me know some of the other beers and breweries that I should have a look at. Some of the stuff I discovered down in New Zealand was awesome. There was some great breweries down there. But thank you again for watching. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Go and check out my social media things. But most importantly, make sure you try some Garage Project beers, and try some New Zealand beers if you haven't before already. The New Zealand beer is really awesome. There's some great Kiwi hops, and the IPAs and double IPAs especially, you will not be disappointed with those. Slàinte just now, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers to New Zealand.